doing?
Fantastic.
How are we doing?
We're
Maybe that's the question.
better than we
Yeah.
had been.
I'm sure you've noticed our video production has been spotty, and part of that, I think we made it pretty clear that we left and went to the States. It was nice. We had a very good visit, but then we got here and Rivers was sick before we left.
Yeah.
But of course, as soon as we get here, we both got sick. And man, when I say sick, I got real sick. I had a sore throat so bad that I couldn't even speak. We're doing better now. And we're still sitting here on a mooring ball in Prickly Bay. And I think we haven't had a chance to sit down and talk to you guys about our latest pivot, which is something we are very well known for doing, pivoting.
I know.
And I think it kind of maybe explains why we're still sitting here, and you know, you guys all know that we were having motor issues on the starboard side before we left, part of our reason for just flying out of Grenada. And we still have those. I still maintain that I don't think they're going to be anything too crazy. It was just too many layers at the time.
Right, and we haven't had a chance to actually dig into it.
I haven't had a chance to do anything.
We got sick.
I was so horribly ill, there was just no way I was climbing down in there to do anything. But that's not really the big news, and why we're still kind of sitting here and not hustling to get to St. Martin. Mm-hmm. It's because we're not going to St. Martin now. At least not in the immediate future, and not to work on boat things. We are now going to Trinidad. And there's a couple reasons for that. And the big reason, I don't know, I guess maybe I'm kind of spinning this all together in maybe the wrong order, but this is, we've made a decision on the engines on this boat that basically backtracks from the electric motor plan. And it's something I'm struggling with a little bit still, because 2 electric motors on this boat is still kind of a fantasy for me. I think it would be fantastic. I really truly believe in it for the right people, for the right boat, the right sailors, that electric motors, especially the DIY versions, not so much the manufactured ones, because I think they're too complex and people can't do anything with them, but I really think it's, you know, the data's starting to add up that people are having success with these DIY electric motors with the right people using them the right way. Anyway, here's the problem, and this has become clear from talking to you guys and from comments, and like, we get so much support from our viewers and subscribers and Patreons. And you know, there's always negative Nellies, which is fine. It's great to hear those opinions too, but
I wouldn't say great, but I mean, it's helpful sometimes.
It's helpful because the one thing that's very clear is that a boat like this, any boat really, if you put an electric motor in it, you're probably compromising your resale. Maybe not ultimately, you might find that perfect buyer, but it's not as easy. And another big part of doing things this way, just to be 100% honest, is we're just kind of tired. It's been, I don't even want to talk about how long it's been since
we had 2 motors.
Since we've had 2 motors. Putting in a matching diesel, I'm not going to say it's a simple fix, because it's not. That's going to be some interesting engineering, figuring out how to get it back in there, drop it in, hopefully through the steps. Mm-hmm. But it's the most straightforward solution. And trying to make a living while being aboard this boat, while also wanting to travel and trying to make the best of this life, you know, we don't find ourselves with a budget to, even with the electric motor setup, to just be like, bam, let's buy it all, go sit in the yard for a month and just do it. We just don't. That's just not how we're put together. It's not how we're functioning. It's not our however flawed it might be, it's not our business model. We just are tired of being without 2 motors. And how long would it be to get to the point where everything is working together? There'd be some period where we have one diesel and one electric, and that diesel needs help, and we're tired of waiting, tired of being without two, and the idea of how long it might still be to be able to put that whole plan together.
Yeah.
It's just, we want to get back to having a fully functional boat that we can, move around at will, instead of having to think through every tiny contingency, because we have one motor and it is not 100% either. It's not a great feeling, and we've dealt with it. Obviously, we've sailed, God, what are we putting, close to at least 2,500, 3,000 miles on this boat with one functioning motor, because we're primarily sailors, and we're proud of that. I mean, we've managed to do this, but that's exactly it. We've managed to do it, and we're tired of managing. We would really like two functional motors and so a boat that's closer to what we picture it being, to go. What
it was meant to be when it...
Right, what our intentions for it were. And right now it just feels like it's been a waiting game, and we're done with that. We're kind of tired of it. So that was part of the equation. But what we found was a used, reconditioned motor from a company over in the UK. It's a matching motor for our motors, and it's a little bit newer. It's about, I think it's a 98 or 99, with reasonable hours on it. It's out of a Hallberg Rossi that somebody just did a full revamp of the whole boat. And
that started sounding really...
And the price was right. Yeah, the price was right.
We would have two motors that match. We wouldn't have one electric, one diesel, and we wouldn't have to worry about trying to fit something in that wasn't. Yeah, and it's more in the realm of affordability to do it that way. Trinidad is, if you're not familiar with the cruising world down here, Trinidad is sort of the boat work center of everything. A lot of people just don't get down that far, but it's extremely affordable to haul your boat out there, and then all of the contractors, all the workers down there work, not only do they work for very little comparatively to other places in the Caribbean and the US, but they supposedly do really fantastic work. We've heard nothing bad about people having boat work done down in Trinidad. So we pivoted. We're still kind of getting the schedule of when the motor is going to ship from the UK, being around holiday time. There's been some delays. It's already paid for, and supposedly having it shipped to Trinidad won't cost it any more really than sending it to St. Martin. Trinidad's very easy to ship things into. There's no import tax or anything like that. So we're going to have the motor meet us down there at one of the boat yards. Bottom job. We're going to do
We are so long overdue for the bottom job because Tyrrell Bay got destroyed, and that forced us to kind of delay that. There's going to be a huge amount of work being done to this boat in the next couple months. But right now, we're kind of just in a holding pattern, waiting to find out when the motor will arrive so that we can time up our arrival at the boat yard, get hauled out, and get started on this stuff. If you like boat projects, there haven't been a lot on this channel in a while, but we are about to catch up. This is why it was time for us to just sit and talk. I know I'm a man of few words, and it's kind of hard to get me to speak my soul.
Definitely. Never
Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes, I have to just squeeze those words out for you guys.
Like a big old poop.
Like a big old poop. Anyway, there you go. That's why. This is what's happening. What do you want to do today?
Walk the dog. We gotta go walk the dog, and we're gonna go to a pool.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I need to do some other things first. All right.
Okay.
We'll go do that, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Cheers.
You ready for a walk? That's what you knew?
Yes. Oh, extra truck back. That's
More.
basically it.
Well, we slowly rolling back into the groove of things. Like everybody else in the U.S., I feel like we're on vacation week because it's Christmas, New Year's, all that. But one thing I did figure out, sadly, is that our battery on that side is now dead, and it is actually about to its length of life. Stands to reason that it might be on its way out. I've been trying to recondition it with the charger, and it is not responding at all.
Yeah. So we also got really sick right after we got back from Ohio. We're still kind of like out of breath when we go walking. It was a pretty nasty flu. So it's been about a week and a half now since we first got it. It just feels like no matter what, we're trying to recover, but we've just been real slow at filming anything and getting back to normal. Here, today's the first day. I think that we're all truly feeling better and don't have anything else to do. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll walk down the calls anyway.
All right. Well, I'm off on a little bit of a mission here. Pros and cons of being here in Brickley Bay. A big pro where we are right now is being on these mooring balls. They're very nice, they're well maintained, and they're really inexpensive. They're $250 for a month. And that is kind of unheard of anywhere down here that we know of. So that made it very nice for us to be able to go back to the US and feel confident about the boat. You can see how close we are here to everything. This dinghy ride is super short. It's a really secure area, a very nice area. You know, when you're sitting around and you don't have a motor to count on, it's really nice to be secure on a mooring ball. Also really easy to get to stuff. Easy for us to go get groceries like I'm about to do. Not as easy to get gasoline. It's the one weird thing, so that's a con. I'm gonna see if I can manage to bring it back on the scooter. This will be an interesting experiment. Big downside, there's just not a lot of kids here. So that's a big downside for us. Rivers really need some kid time. So our plan now is I'm gonna get some gasoline so that we've got fuel. It's a pretty calm, chill day, very flat. We're just gonna dinghy over to LaFare Blue. It's a couple bays over, but people make the trip all the time when the water's nice. So phase one, go get a few groceries, go get a tank of gas. Phase two, eat some lunch. Phase three, go get the kids some playtime and sit by the pool, have a beer. And here we are. In all that short amount of time I was running my mouth, maybe not so short in Lauren's mind, and we are there. That is as much as you get without me wrecking, killing myself. Looks like we're here on the right day. Always sort of a score when we get here right when they get all the stuff in. So, I got fuel, I got it back to Rams. Let's see if I can get all of this back to the boat. Alright, a loaf of bread in my hand, 5 gallons of gas on the deck, backpack full of groceries, super bright, and I'm wearing sunglasses. Hit it. Whew. We got fuel, we got burgers, we got buns, we got bread. I even stopped at Coles and got 2 dozen eggs, which are like gold in Grenada right now. Let's go have some fun today. Oh, good idea. Hi, Zeke! Hey, honey, I'm home. Success.
Yay.
I even got 2 dozen eggs at Coles on the way back. They had 6 dozen. So, I'm that guy. It worked out better than I could have hoped. I'm tossing out sailboat life recommendations. 2 that come to mind today that made the biggest difference in our world over the course of the 5.5 years we've been on this boat. And they've been recent, within just the last couple of years. Get a scooter, because it will make your life so much better. It's got its own hassles, finding a place to stow it. Way better than bikes, though. You can find a place for a scooter when you can't find a place for a bike. Super easy to keep them charged. These days, they'll go for a long way on a battery charge. I mean, this one that we've been using most of the time will do 28 miles an hour. And it's just light enough that I don't hurt myself getting it in and out of the dinghy, but big enough that I can haul big bags of groceries right on the deck if I want, or 5 gallons of fuel in a flat tank. Number 2, Starlink. Starlink has made our lives so much better and simpler and more convenient in so many ways, because as much as everybody wants to come out here and say they want to be disconnected from it all, you don't. Not really, not 100%, and especially so many people are like us now where they're trying to make a living while being aboard. That usually means being very connected and being able to rely on it. And it is reliable, man. There's been a few instances of people getting their Starlink shut down, being in certain places, especially people who have an American account. Ours got shut down. We turned it off in the app, reset it, not intending for that to do anything, but when we turned it back on, it was fine. It was reset again. So those are just my thoughts right now after this run that I just went on to get fuel and groceries. That would have been an all-day super exhausting thing without this scooter, to do it on foot, or an expensive thing to go have to hire a cab, you know, or rent a car or whatever. Scooter, huge difference. Starlink, just in general life, it's made things so much better. Those are your 2 big ones. Everything else is gravy. You can do it. Go. Go. Look at those hops. I don't think we've ever made this thing before, have we?
No. We are going to La Fer Bleu. It is kind of a far ways from where we are over here in Brickley, and we've never done it, but it's a calm day. We've planned on doing it a couple times, but it's never worked out for us. So we're gonna see.
Fun day.
We gotta go like out into the Caribbean Sea. Glad we're not going that way. Yeah, obviously today it was a good day for it, which is why we did it. But maybe
If it's windy and wavy, that's a rough.
yeah, we'll just have to. We now know it's in the realm of possibilities that we can do.
That brings me to number 3, a V-hull dinghy, big enough that it can handle some waves. Doesn't have to be huge, and a nice enough motor that you can get up on a plane. I know it's a lot of money to get a decent motor. You might be tempted to go for the 4 or 5 horse, super light, super cheap, 2-stroke. It's gonna be painful. A lot of places where you anchor, getting in the shore. And it completely eliminates the chance to do things like this, where you're literally hopping from bay to bay. So, for my 2 cents, that's another. I'm gonna listen off the things that we've figured out in 5.5 years. It's a really big deal, and a good planing dinghy, definitely a big deal.
We did it!
Tiniest place, and as soon as we're back here, I'm like,
Oh my god, so nice. It's like we're on vacation.
like so many of you just flipped off the tongue when you heard me say I get so tired of this place.